Hi everyone, this is Liz from Creative Life of Liz, and I am here planning for the week of August 10th through the 16th. This is in my B&R Paper Crafts Plan B planner. And for this week, I am not using a kit. I'm using a whole bunch of leftovers. So this started with these couple of pages from kit 73 from Avalon Ninth with the little ice cream cones. I never had the kit. These came from a grab bag, but I just felt like they were really good vibe for this time of the summer. And then I had some things that went with them. So first off, I have a few samplers from Korseh's Kreations. And this one is the one that was really the driving force, since obviously with the ice cream, that's perfect. And then I have a few other pieces that I can end up using to go along with as well. And then I also pulled out samplers from B&R Paper Crafts. So I have a bunch of these, and I'm not going to use all of them, but I'm going to use as much as I can. So first off, I have this one with the hot air balloons. The colors are perfect, summer vibes, so definitely great to use. I have these that are Taylor Swift themed, but the colors are perfect. Excuse me. The colors are perfect, so definitely think I'm going to use that as well. I have these from that are Alice in Wonderland themed. I'm not sure if these are like perfect, but the colors go, and I think I like the vibes, so I'm probably going to incorporate these guys. And then I have these two in turquoise. So again, color goes really well. And then finally, I have these two that are kind of flower themed. These are the ones that I think fit the least well. So I plan to skip using these and stick with these. But I did pull everything out just in case, so that I have whatever it is that I need. To go along with this, I did also pull out a little bit of extra stuff. So the main one is I pulled out these two washi tapes. This one is from Simply Gilded. I got it in a grab box. And then this one is from AliExpress from like 10 years ago. But I think they both go really well with the theme, so I'm definitely going to be using those. And then I do need a pen to use for up here at the top, which of course I did not grab because that would be too logical. I think I'm going to use these Mincho fine liners and just write the days and the dates up at the top by hand. I think that's going to work out fine. My plan is, I think I want to scatter the full boxes. I haven't done that much, which means I'm going to scatter full box checklists, which is a little bit weird for me, but I think I'm going to make it work. So I think I'm going to use 3 of the colors here. I'm going to skip this orange for purposes of the headers. I'm going to put in the other colors. I think I'm going to try to scatter the check boxes before I come back as well. And I'm going to put down the bottom washi and write the dates at the top. And then I will be back so that we can do the interesting bits. All right, here's where we're at so far. I think it's looking pretty cute. We're gonna see how it turns out though. I do still have 2 check boxes left, so hopefully we can use at least one of those. We'll see how that goes. Looking at the full boxes, I have this guy, and then I'm gonna pull in these 8 other options. So obviously this one being kind of the inspiration for this entire thing, is going to be my quote box. I think I'm just gonna stick it, I need to stick it up a little bit high because it's actually kind of short. It's like a B something size. We'll stick it there. I think that looks decent. And then I want to kind of scatter the rest of these, and I'm gonna follow the orange for where I am scattering things. So I think these color-wise go really well. So I think I'm going to stick these one up here. Oh, these are like slightly too long now. Well, that's delightful. All right, I'm just going to trim a tiny hair off the bottom of each of these manually as I go to make them fit. since there's enough space to make it work. Okay, I think we're gonna go with that as close enough. And I'm gonna trim off a little bit here. This one I technically don't need to trim because it's gonna go at the bottom, but I'm gonna trim it anyway so that they're a little bit more consistent in size. All right, sticking this onto the side for use coming up. This guy can go to the side. Next up, I think I want to put in the hot air balloons. These are going on Monday and Sunday. I'm assuming these are also slightly too tall. Yes. So I think she makes her boxes like slightly taller to align with her bottom box size in this planner, which is slightly larger. As you can see, there's a tiny strip here. But I'm just going to trim everything to make it all fit the way that I want it to. This one I didn't trim quite as much off. Hopefully I still caught enough. It'll be close enough. All right, not perfect, but we're just going to call it good. I think that's going to look fine when we get there. And then I think this one, these are the ones that don't match quite as well. So this one I think is gonna go as my Thursday box, kind of in the middle. And then we'll have the two turquoise ones over here. Unfortunate that they are now lined up with the turquoise checklists, but it is what it is, and I'm not going to try to fix anything. These are on like a different kind of vinyl. Oh, this one is not cut quite deep enough. These are on a vinyl that definitely does not reposition. So I don't want to deal with that. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can get all of this to pick up. Okay, there we go. Maybe. All right, we got some extra scrippy scraps, which I'm just gonna trim there, and then I'm gonna trim here at the bottom the little bit that I don't really need. And I'm following the orange. There we go. And then this one is also not going to come up, so I'm just going to trim it before I try to scrape anything off or whatever. There we go. And then this one also needs just a little trim at the bottom. And then it'll fit up here at the top. There we go. Okay, a couple of them slightly overlap, but it's close enough. I am going to save this for my sidebar. Speaking of which, on the sidebar, let me see what I can put together for that. First off, I'm going to use one of these orange headers. I am going to try to use up as much of these headers as I can. So I'm going to start with that. And then I did pull out from my leftovers this guy. I'm not sure where it's from, but it's the perfect color. So this is what I decided to use for my habit tracker this week. And then I do have this little camera guy. It's kind of the Instagram icon. So that's what I'm going to use to mark that it's my socials that I am going to be monitoring. And then next up, I'm going to stick in one of these. I think I'm going to put in the red one. I don't know, I'm just feeling it. I'm not going to do a meal tracker for this week, which I know is very unusual for me, but I don't actually need the meal tracker, so I'm just going to not include it this week. And then I do want to include this other full box. I'm not going to trim this one short because the length in the sidebar doesn't actually matter. There we go. And then I'm going to stick in another one of these. And then what do I want to fill in this last little space? I could just stick in like a couple cute icons maybe. That could be fun. I don't really like need to add another checklist or something along those lines. All right, I think I'm going to stick in a couple of these cute icons. Maybe this little guy. That seems on brand. Probably this page is just going to be done at this point because I don't really, is the UPS sale even a thing? And then this is so old that the notes are for 2018. All right, I think that fills in the space enough that I can be happy with that. I don't know if I'm going to use this last checklist. I could end up cutting it apart into little things. We'll have to just kind of see how that goes during the week. I am going to set this one on the side as well because I don't think I'm going to use that. I'm going to stick with these other pages that I do actually need things from. So my thought for my work stuff is there's a bunch of these guys, and I think they would be perfect to use to mark work. And so that's just what I'm going to do. I don't usually mark my paydays in here. So I think that this will be kind of a fun way to still use these stickers because they are really cute. And then I think maybe this turquoise one, if I can get it picked up. Oh, I forgot that this is the page that's not cut quite deep enough. So that makes everything so much more annoying. All right, hopefully I have now cut enough that it'll stay. We'll see how this goes. There's that one. All right, that covers the first half of the week for work. Also on Monday, I do expect to have a movie night, but I'm not totally sure what's going on with that. So I'm just gonna not worry about it. Right now, I'm not gonna mark it in or anything like that. I am going to take one of these from the turquoise sheet. Now that I know that it's not cut super deep, I'm just gonna use it a lot to try to use it up while I already have my slice tool out to trim it as needed. Hopefully we can just get this box up. It does not need to be this difficult. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna stick this in. So my plan with me will go up on Monday. And I am gonna use this little plan guy for that. There we go. And then movie night, if it happens, we'll make it fit in there. On Tuesday, other than work, I don't currently have anything planned. The same thing with Wednesday. We're just gonna kind of see how the week goes. Moving on to the second half of the week. What of these guys do I still have? These are gray, so that feels like something I can use later. I think I'm gonna use this other turquoise one. To mark work, I think on Friday. There we go. And then maybe we'll use this yellow one right here on Thursday. Thursday's another day where currently I don't think anything is planned. Ooh, I do have a deadline on Tuesday. Do I want to put that in? All right, flipping back, we're going back. We do have a deadline. Do I have a deadline sticker? I think what we're going to use is, I need something that's not turquoise on this page. I think we're going to use this pink one, like so. And then I'm going to use the red alarm clock. You know, mix the colors just to mark that that's a big deadline for work. Thursday, I've got nothing. And then Friday, I am going to have a video going up. It's going to be my Aura Estelle setup for September. Are we already planning for September? I think so. Okay, well that sounds crazy, but pretty sure that's how the schedule works, and that's what's going to be going up. So by the time you see this video, that video will already be up, so you can go check it out if you're interested. Putting in the box, and then I think I'm going to use this other plan from the other Korseh creation sheet. I think that's cute. And then over the weekend, right now, I currently don't have anything set, so I'm just going to leave that as is right now. So looking at where we are at, here's what the spread is looking like. Definitely fun, colorful, kind of chaotic, but I love it. I do obviously still have quite a bit left. Some Korseh Creations, B&R Paper Crafts, more Korseh Creations, more B&R Paper Crafts, and then I have these couple of strips here for whatever days are not too busy, or I just want to like put in a note or something like that. Ooh, while I'm at it, I think the only trash can I have is this one. Is that accurate? Yes, this is the only trash can I have, so I'm just going to stick that up here as well on Monday. Okay, I think that covers everything for now, so stick around for just a second and you can see the finished spread. All right, here is my finished spread. I think it turned out really cute. I also think I used up a good amount of stuff pretty well. As you'll remember, I was pulling a bunch of stuff out of my stash. So I did finish the page with the Avalon Ninth checklists. As you can see, or maybe you can't see, I don't know, the checks weren't really working, so I filled them in with zebra mild liner. All the purple ones are things I did, and then I do have this one, the plant project for my grandma did not happen this week, so I just filled that in with a red zebra mild liner, and I think that worked out okay. I also think that this little Korseh Creation sampler is done for me, because this is a coupon code expired in December of 2018. That's how long I've had this. And then I don't think the UPS sale is even a thing anymore. So I think that can go away. And then in terms of the rest of the stuff I have one header left on the Avalon Ninth headers page. I didn't quite finish it off. I don't think that there's any place I really need to stick a header. I mean, I guess I could put it up here. Sure, let's just stick it in right here at the very top. Finish off this page. That looks cute. I'm done. All right, and then for Korseh Creations, I do still have a few bits left of this sampler, and then a few bits left on this sampler. So those will just go back in my stash. And then on the B&R Paper Crafts ones, I do still have a good amount left on these guys. So a box and some icons, a couple boxes and some icons, all the boxes and icons on this one, a box and some icons here, and then this one I didn't even touch. So a good amount left here as well, which again is going to go back in my stash. In terms of other things I added, I think really the only thing I pulled out from my stash from someplace else was this little baseball icon from Creative Cavern Studio, since it just felt appropriate since I was at a baseball game, which was very exciting. It was fun to go to, even if the Rochester Red Wings lost. In the end, it was still a fun game overall. This week was pretty busy, lots of ups and downs as per usual, but over the weekend it was nice. I spent some time talking with my sister, did some errands, started the Rochester book crawl, which is like a 9-day event here, talked to my parents, really got a lot of stuff done, and you can see I kind of broke apart this last checklist so that I could fill in a few little snippets here and here as well. So I think it turned out pretty cute. So as always, please like and subscribe below if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. It helps me out. Let me know how your week went down below, or if you're not feeling chatty, leave me a giraffe emoji in the comments just to say hi. I would love to hear from you. And then follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky at Creative Life of Liz. You'll see in progress and finished spreads, bits and pieces of my life, what I'm reading, all that good stuff. And until next time, bye.